I'm Marianne Kovach, the Associate Program Director for the Blue Ridge Music Center. I'd like to welcome you to the discussion series, A Place in the Band, Women in Bluegrass and American Roots Music. This series is part of a project by the Blue Ridge Music Center that began in 2020 to honor the 100th anniversary of women being granted the right to vote. A Place in the Band celebrates the triumphs and explores the struggles faced by women in bluegrass and American roots music. In this discussion series, North Carolina singer-songwriter and social activist Laurelyn Dossett speaks with women in the music business, including musicians and others involved in music management and promotion roles. Through these conversations, the women share their stories, talking about their role models, mentors, and inspirations, experiences with people they've worked with, issues they've encountered that are specific to women in the industry, changes they've seen over the years, and other parts of their own personal journeys that have helped them to be who they are today. These individual stories show us the collective strength and future possibilities for women in bluegrass and American roots music. I hope you enjoy the series, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, today I'm delighted to introduce you to AMYTHYST KIAH. AMYTHYST has really made a name for herself in the business over the last couple of years as a solo artist with her band AMYTHYST KIAH and her Chest of Glass, and recently with the Our Native Daughters project. In that project, she wrote a song called Black Myself that was nominated for multiple awards and won Folk Alliance International Song of the Year. It's kind of surprising when you realize that she kind of got into this field accidentally. She signed up for a bluegrass guitar class at East Tennessee State, and the rest is history. I love how her music encompasses so many different forms of American folk music, blues, old-time singer-songwriter, but it's not like she jumps from one to the other. She does them all at once. My name is Laurelyn Dossett, and this is AMYTHYST KIAH.
When you were first learning about, you were already immersed in all kinds of music and all genres of music from your childhood and your dad and just your interests, and then you get up to ETSU and you learn about just more of this broad folk music or roots music or whatever you want to call it. Who were some of it? They don't have to all be women. They can be men and women, obviously. But who were some of the people from the past, that were really interesting to you and really feeding where you've ended up today?
Well, gosh, I mean, there's the Carter family. That was one of the first. There's actually, I think, "Bury Me Under the Weeping Willow" was one of the first songs that, one of the first old time songs that I learned, and one of the first ones that I learned to play for in the old time pride band at ETSU. So
awesome.
Yeah. The Carter family. Vera Hall, who was a singer from Livingston, Alabama. And she had an incredible voice. Elizabeth Cotton is another one. Olabelle Reed. Olabelle Reed's another one, another big one. Yeah.
Her name comes up a lot as I've been talking to women in this process. You talked about learning about the chocolate drops at that time. Like how important do you think, their coming on the scene was to you're kind of going, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, like I mentioned before, when I first started getting into the music and kind of finding my place, like I took the bluegrass guitar class, and then I kind of got interested in playing Celtic guitar. I was a big Lorena McKennitt fan. So I didn't really know anything about traditional Celtic music. All I knew is I loved how it sounded, and Celtic rhythm guitar looked and sounded fun. And so I learned how to do that. And then I was in Celtic band for a couple of years. And then old time is what I ended up really kind of gravitating into. And I think, again, without I know in some of this I'm being kind of vague only because I don't want to like, I'm trying not to like I'm not trying to like call anybody out or anything. So that's why I'm kind of being a little vague about some of my descriptions. But within the genres of music there, I felt like old time was more, and the people that played old time, I felt like the people that played old time were a little more accepting to me being part of it. Because every person that I met that we really jived with, they were all in old time. They were all playing old time, and I was kind of like, and it also happened. A lot of them also like they weren't from this area. They were actually from like other places. So. And we were all kind of starting from scratch, like, yeah, man, I don't know anything about old time music, but it's just really cool and we want to learn. So I kind of like fell in with like that kind of group of people. And I was just like, well, so that was a big thing. Right. So once I took the American folk music class, which was taught by Dr. Ted Olson, who's put out some pretty amazing box sets. He put out the Johnson City Sessions box set and the Bristol Sessions box set, which I think Bristol Sessions box set, I think the liner notes got nominated for a Grammy like a few years back. So wow. He's literally like an encyclopedia, a walking encyclopedia about roots music. It's pretty incredible. But anyway, so once I started taking that class and understanding like even though in my entire life I've usually been like the only Black person in the room, if I was going to be participating in a program and playing a music, I needed to hold on to something. I needed to have some sort of sense of belonging if I was going to stick with it. And when I came across the Carolina Chocolate Drops, and in conjunction with learning about roots music and seeing how much West African folk traditions played into the music, and the fact that country music and bluegrass music and any music that is deemed as being white music is actually like, you know, a multicultural music, and that it's something that all Americans can and should be able to partake in without feeling like they don't belong. And so seeing the Carolina Chocolate Drops and also being around people that like finding a group of people that were welcoming me in, all of that kind of just, I mean, that was like the perfect storm of like, okay, I'm going to go down this path. And I also felt like with old time music, like with a lot of the singing that happened in old time music, like murder ballads and all that kind of stuff, like I really just something about it was really moving to me. And I loved the very distinct voices that were recorded, particularly in field recordings. We are talking about like, you know, doing another album at some point. So can't really say when or how, but we have talked about that and we're interested in doing that. So, so yeah, hopefully that'll be something that'll be happening.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again for your time. And this was delightful.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
All right. See ya.
I don't creep around. I stand proud and free 'cause I'm Black myself. I go anywhere that I wanna go 'cause I'm Black myself. I'm surrounded by many loving arms 'cause I'm Black myself. And I'll stand my ground, smile in your face 'cause I'm Black myself. I wash away the blood and tears. I've been born Thank you.